Lord Voldemort says, I like the idea that whatever interpretation is most loving, that is the best interpretation. I think that's also the safest. I think that's the one we should strive for. Does anybody, when I was a kid, there was this show, oh gosh, it was like, I think it was like American Ninja or something. It was like during that ninja fad where everybody was jumping around in black hoodies and stuff. Anyhow, I remember watching this show, and I don't know why, sometimes things just stick with you. But in the show, it said he was being trained. It was this American kid was being trained he was like adopted by a Japanese family. And he was being trained to be a ninja. And he really wanted to learn how to fight. He really wanted to learn how to kick, to punch, to destroy his opponents. But his sensei, his mentor, his adopted father, said, no, you're not ready. Before you learn how to fight, you have to learn how to heal. You have to learn how to heal others. You have to learn how to treat injuries and wounds. You have to learn how to take care of folks. That's the very first. Now listen, I'm not saying this is how ninjas were taught. I'm just saying this is what the show said, but it always stuck with me. That this kid who really wanted to be a ninja with fists of fury flying all over the place, he couldn't do any of that until he first learned how to heal, how to take care of himself and people and their injuries and their wounds. And my guess is where Jesus tells us to forgive and Jesus tells us to love, I think we need to do those things. We need to have those things down perfectly before we ever start throwing stones. Before we ever start accusing people, before we ever start judging people, before we ever start condemning people, we need to know how to love them perfectly, how to forgive them perfectly, how to extend mercy perfectly, how to offer charity perfectly. We need to get all the love stuff, all the healing stuff down perfectly before we ever believe we are in a situation that we are somehow positioned, that we are somehow capable of making demands of others, of legislating how others should live, of condemning the behaviors, the actions of others. We got to have the love thing down before we can ever possibly believe we can get into what we might see as something a little bit more aggressive. Amen.